Hey everybody, this is Tim from TTT Urban Homestead. It is Saturday, the 12th of April. Front yard looking really good. This is in the evening time, so a little bit different time. In Maryland. Okay, so now this, I said last week, if you watched the video from last week, all we saw was something like this, and this is what this thing looks like. Amaryllis. So I split these up this winter from 1 into 9. So this was about to pop open. There's a few smaller ones, a couple bigger ones on the ends. As long as you see this little pod coming out, it's like a flower stem type thing. You're going to have flowers. Even on that small one, you can see that one has a flower stem coming out. Some of the smaller ones don't have. Maybe they will this year. I don't know. It might take the second year for them to actually have flowers. But a very interesting flower that I've been messing with for a couple years. This is a strawberry patch, and I am seeing baby strawberries in here, as you can see, and lots of blooms and stuff. It has been cool. There's one that's probably ripe. So that's pretty much right on the verge of like being super red, but sometimes it's better to pick them like that so the bugs don't get them. Alright, that's the front flower area. I did cover it with mulch from the wood chip pile over here, which this wood chip pile is about 1.5 feet deep and goes all the way to the fence, back fence, the wooden fence. So just working that soil. Haven't done anything yet. Looks like our last frost is past, according to the calendar and the predictions for the next 10 days and the month. We're not showing any freeze, but we're still showing temperatures below 50 at night. So that's good for these plants. Like this is spinach. The spinach is doing good. Carlos come out and picked a lot of spinach, but I actually got some volunteer dill plants growing in here. I'm gonna let them grow. This will be where the okra goes in a couple more weeks. Collard greens, mustard greens. Got a big Paris Cost lettuce right here. This is an in the ground one, and a lot of the ones I have in the back are actually in bags. Mint, sage is blooming, so I usually just let this stuff go and do what it's going to do. Oregano is just tall, probably 1 foot tall now. I need to harvest this stuff. The cactus project this week, I was asking my mom and my sister and my niece, what happens with these little things on the top. They said they might be flowers, but then they also sprout out new little branches or whatever they call these things. I don't even know what kind of cactus it is. Alright, to the back. On the left we have there is an onion patch right here in the front with red and yellow onions. They seem to be doing well. This is our Paris Cost lettuce that we use on a daily basis once. This is, we use what we want, and it's pretty much down to nothing. Then I'll reuse the bag and grow some more. This is the radish patch. There is some little bit. There's some radish down in here. That's the only one I'm actually seeing that's actually got a radish on it. You know, we'll just see how it goes. I did plant some cucumbers in this box, which is what I've done several years. I usually make a little mound, put 3 or 4 seeds in it. I'll put a cage around it so the cats don't dig it up, or the squirrels digging up the seeds and stuff. All right, so let's see how that goes with the cucumber. I'm gonna I usually put a couple of fence posts in here and then run a netting across for the cucumbers to climb on. In the meantime, we still got the collard greens in here, and Carla's been harvesting a lot of those. I did take a picture, so I'll show the picture of what we've got so far, or the day that she did it. Got about 4 or 5 bags of greens packed up and frozen. Here's some more of the Paris Cost lettuce. These are newer plants, and I was trying to check, see, because most of them I've grown in the 1 gallon bags, and they don't look much different than the 2 gallon ones. So we'll see how it goes, because if 1 gallon is good enough to grow it to maturity, then I'm going to stick with that. Got some beans coming up here that I had actually planted. Some green beans. That's the green bean right there. There's one there. I don't know if something's eating the leaves. And there's another one and another one. And I did plant a second row, but I saw a squirrel in here. There's one right there, a green bean. And there's a volunteer celery. See how that does in this bed. Alright, and then the second row up here, normally where I put my Roma tomatoes, right now I have potatoes, red potatoes, gold potatoes, and some carrots that have germinated and sprouted up. Most likely I'll take this row of potatoes and put them along the fence line over there. Alright, up to the I've got beets in here. This bag just it seemed like it was drying out on the top real bad. I think it was a mixture of dirt that I put in. I didn't actually mix it real well, so I got a lot of harder like soil in here. So I added this shredded straw. You can actually buy it from Lowe's and Home Depot. These are the other beets that are popping up, looking good. This bag just seems to be doing the best as far as the way the plants look. And got onions back here, garlic, and then these are all yellow onions up to this bag here, which is red onions. And I had run out of my basil plants. Here we are. We've got basil growing in the onions. So and I actually got a purple basil and a green basil there. So I'm gonna actually pull some of these out and transplant them and get my basil going again. But the soil that I use is actually from the bags I had last year, and I had basil, I had purple basil. So if they drop seeds in the soil, I'm gonna get stuff popping up, which is fine with me. I'll just, if you do it carefully, you can actually pull stuff out and transplant it. I think I even had this is maybe a Cosmos, or I think it's marigold. Yep, smells like marigold, but that's a marigold. Then I'm having a heck of a time getting to germinate this year, so I'm gonna have to get some new seeds, I guess. But if I get a few plants popping up, I'm gonna end up grabbing them and transplanting them. Here's the fennel. Fennels. These plants are actually in their second year. They were in the greenhouse, didn't freeze, so they look fine. Strawberries. I picked a little bowl of strawberries. I think I took a picture. I'll probably add that. But these strawberries are producing in the bags, doing pretty well. So this method does good. So I probably would keep on doing it. I'd rather pick strawberries from a bag, or this is a tower setup that you can get. These little I got these at like Family Dollar, Dollar Tree. I think I went around to 3 different, but they're $1.25 each for each piece. So you can build a tower. This tower would be $6 or $6.25. It's not it's probably not the most sturdy plastic. It's gonna biodegrade or something, within a couple of years, but that's fine. It's better than paying $69 for Mr. Stacky or something. Here is the table now with the Paris lettuce. These are like the original ones that I had started. They're very mature and definitely can harvest these. And then I have my celery containers. I'm trying it out. So I've got 5 celery containers. I got some more celery in the 6-packs in the house, in the nursery. So we got more. I like to get a lot of celery. This would be the first year that I would try to actually harvest and store, freeze up celery. I was just kind of testing it last year. So normally what I do is if I haven't grown something, I'm going to kind of test it, see how it grows the best, and then use that, and then go for more, and see how much we can actually collect, harvest, and plant, harvest, and store from seed. Here is I'm inside the greenhouse. In the greenhouse, it's going to stay above 50, especially for the cucumber plants, because they don't like anything below 50. I have gone around and actually, I did it for like a few days. I went around and or manually pollinated the flowers with a Q-tip. And I originally did that, and then I had a couple cucumbers. I actually picked one. And then after that, I really didn't go around. I guess I just kind of let it slip my mind, but I wasn't getting any more cucumbers. And then this week, I went ahead and went around and manually pollinated, every flower, every female flower that I could find. And now I've got more cucumbers popping out, which I'm happy about. But I know I have to go around and actually pollinate them, or manually pollinate them. They say you can I use a Q-tip. Just put it in the male flower, which is one without the fruit on it. So that's a female. The male would be one like that doesn't have the fruit on it. So you would put the Q-tip in the flower, maybe kind of swirl around, and then put it, touch it inside the female flower. So now I've done that, and like I said, I've got fruit that I know are pollinated, and they're actually growing now. I'm not trying to do that with the tomatoes right now. They are really kicking in here. I need to get them outside, but I've got about 4 or 5 more days. I don't want them to be under 50 outside either, but they're all looking good. Different varieties. I've got some, most of them are beefsteak tomato, and then I've also got Creole, Russian, Rutgers, and I don't know which one is which. On those ones I have labeled, I don't know which one is which because I mixed them up, messed it up when I put the seeds in. But these tomatoes are actually producing flowers, and I'm not trying to pollinate these. I'd rather get this thing outside and let it do its thing outside up on the trellis. But I got my set aromas. I'm only going to use about probably 6 of these for the first set of aromas. I got some that I'm giving to some people and things like that. And then I got a row of more beefsteaks down here. I think most of these are beefsteak tomatoes. So we're going to get them out this next week. Here's some of the peppers I brought out in an up pottage from inside, and then this is one of the purple basils. A couple of those that I actually have already pulled out of some of the bags and transplanted, and I just kind of let them get a little bigger in the pint container, and then I'll be able to put them in a bag by themselves, maybe a 3 to 5 gallon bag. Radishes doing great. I've been harvesting and eating these. So that's inside like I said, we're inside the greenhouse, so it stays a little warmer here. I saw a bigger, I'm on the back side of the cucumber area here. I saw a bigger green pepper, or a bigger cucumber on this side. I don't know where it is, but anyway, maybe somebody picked it. Not seeing any fruit on the melons, the Korean melons. I don't even see, I'm not that familiar with this plant. I did grow it last year, but it was outside. It did its own thing, and it produced 1 or 2 fruits before the cucumber bug came in and wiped everything out. So I'm not seeing, I can't tell if these are supposed to have male and female flowers or not, but if I went ahead and did this pollination method, a manual one, just to make sure. I might need to look that up, Google it. Alright, extra strawberries plants. There's actually a strawberry. These are pint containers. You wouldn't think a strawberry could produce in a pint container, but they're pretty vigilant. This is eggplant ready to go out once we get the right temperatures. Here's a few seedlings, and if you notice, the Jolly Jester is actually a marigold. Nothing on marigold. Anything that I had for marigolds is not germinating, not popping up. So I'm gonna have to end up getting some new seeds. That's Cosmos. It kind of looks like marigold, but it's not. I believe this is Cosmos too. This one, these right here. Yeah, these are Cosmos. White Cosmos. But a lot of the ones that aren't popping up are marigolds. So I used to have thousands of marigold plants in the front, and that's all I had. I didn't have any other flowers. And now when I actually want more marigolds, they're not acting right. So, okay, other than that, we are going to close this one out. So, temperatures are cooler. They've been up, but then now this week it's a little cooler at night. All of these plants that are actually outside they're not going to be affected by 40 degrees. I'm sure if it froze, there'd probably be some stuff affected, but as long as it doesn't freeze, which is not predicted at all, it's going to be 40, not 20. So, guys, give me a like and share and subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, hey everybody, update. This is Tuesday. I did the other recording on Saturday. Just updating the nursery. So on the top I've got actually green beans and corn. I did this because I did plant green beans and a few corn in one of my raised beds, and I noticed a squirrel was digging up the seeds. So I just want to make sure that I have a few plants, but that's green bean corns, and some basil. Right here, these are basil. I know what they look like when they pop out. I've planted them a few times. Another corn over here, just giving it a little water. And then I have, this is actually some more okra that I planted a couple days ago. Really got to keep those seeds wet because they have a really hard shell. So I usually use a dome on those until they pop up. And then I have some petunias. They're very tiny seeds, so you can actually see the seeds popping up. These are some seeds that I actually got from my mom a couple years ago. So I have some petunias, and eventually marigolds. I'm going to get some new seeds for marigold. Chamomile down here. And here's my okra seeds. These are seeds that I saved myself. And what I do is I'll put them in a container like this. And once you see those tails, I'm going to start pulling these seeds out. That tail's come out pretty good. I don't know what it's called, but I call it the tail. And I'll just put that in some seed starting mix about a ½ inch deep. I just want to make sure that seed is super soft, because the last ones I did, I ended up with what they call helmet head, which is where the seed is sticking to the leaves and keeping them kind of bound up. And then when you try to take that off, sometimes it rips the leaves. Okay, so the other, I think I mentioned that chamomile, those are looking good. I will keep these in here and keep feeding them until I feel that the temperatures are right outside. This is amaranth, which is new. It's a Caribbean green. Some people call it callaloo. Got some more oregano and peppers. Cucumbers, see, that's helmet head, where the seed just sticks to the top. I might just actually like slice that top of that leaf, one of them, at least one of them, and it'll be fine. But see how it's kind of ripping anyway. See how the leaf is ripping anyway. So I might just cut that off to release that. Let that seed stick on just one leaf. Here's some more Paris lettuce. I like to keep a rotation going this time of year because it just grows really well right in the early spring into maybe June. And then if I shade it in the afternoon, it does pretty well. These are all my peppers. I've got green pepper, banana pepper, jalapeno pepper, all doing well. Potatoes, these are sweet potatoes. Sweet potato slips. I actually pulled off. There was some coming out the top, and I saw a video where you just snip those off when they get long enough and put them down in the water, and they get their own roots. So I'm going to do that. If they pop out the top, I'm going to, once they get about 4 to 6 inches in length, because they were actually reaching the lights. This one is very long. Let me stick it down there. Okay, so those are doing well. And then I got some more celery and the okra. Like I said, it had helmet head. Celery in the back, I got 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 more celery. I've already got 6 outside, 5 or 6 outside. So 10 celeries will be probably pretty good for harvesting and freezing. So I'm gonna freeze up a bunch of celery this year. Didn't do that last year, but we usually take all of this stuff, the peppers and greens and even the chamomile. You get the flowers. You can harvest the flowers. You get a pretty good harvest off of each plant. You can take the flowers and dry them out and have some chamomile tea. All right, so that's the update on the nursery this week. Thank you.